Brian Tramel, RynoJB, Rollin Into Mempho.
All right. We're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is STSPod.club production. I'm BT. Thank you, Rhino, for returning. I told you this, but I only lasted 7 minutes. And, that might have been a great thing on some things, but when it comes to this, 7 minutes, man. I'm sorry to everyone that listened to Rollin Into Mempho last week. My buddy Rhino, you had some power outages. We had some more snow and just weird weather.
Snow in March.
Yeah.
Well,
we live this area. We just really never know. We don't get really bad weather, but maybe once a winter, and then we'll get some weird snows and storms and stuff like that in the Jonesboro, Memphis area. Tornado Alley. That's Rhino and I live in Tornado Alley, so thanks. We'll get ready for the summer for that. I'm glad you're back. I appreciate you coming back for today. The good show today, and we'll talk about it. Tonight, Black Rock, Arkansas. Let me say that. I'll be there, and I have a special prize for Patreon today. If I hand you a card, take it. It's going to have all our sites. It's going to have Rhino's Twitch site there. It'll have Championship from Wrestling from Memphis YouTube page, their main page. It'll have my page where you can listen to all the podcasts, and a special price for Patreon only for 48 hours. So check it out. I've got a bunch of these to hand out. A bunch of those to hand out. So let's get going, man. We got a great show to talk about. If this first time you joined us, we do hits, misses, MVP. We'll throw in question of the week in there somewhere. And what do you want to see next week's show? And must see for this show. So let me just say something real quick before we jump into the hits. Here's your must see. This wasn't on the show, but go to the YouTube page because me and Rhino just listened. It is Jonathan Gresham does an interview after the title match. You need to hear it. It's very awesome. And he talks dirty. So there you go. Dirty. That's what don't be talking dirty. Don't be talking dirty. All right, man. Let's start out with you, Rhino. What's your hits for the week?
My hits this week, we had Mickie James come through with infectious energy. I mean, the moment she just hit that camera, I thought this is a hit. She's absolutely amazing. We had our women's championship match that turned into a triple threat match. For me, that was a hit. This storyline between Skylar and Amber Rodriguez, this really had some depth into it, and it's kind of came full circle there. And we saw a standing moonsault from Skylar in that triple threat match that really, really impressed me. I was not expecting that from her. And we also got a new women's champion in Skylar. That was a hit for me. New tag team on the scene with Big Jack and Big Bruce. I like this right here, BT. These might be my new guys right here. One thing that you and I have been fans of is the tag team scene in Memphis Wrestling. And I think that they got a major hit right here with Big Jack and Big Bruce. Then, of course, we had Jonathan Gresham versus Nick Aldis in a great wrestling match. Might even be considered one of the best wrestling matches that have happened here in Memphis Wrestling. In the beginning of that match, we saw some great chain wrestling. But then throughout that entire match, we saw great professional wrestling. You and I were talking about it before. Jonathan Gresham is out of this world, man. Out of this world. You compared it to the likes of Daniel Bryan, Zack Sabre Jr., he reminds me of them, and a little Kurt Angle in there too. I'll throw in there.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. Nick Aldis is a superstar in his own right. I mean, that guy, everything he touched turns into gold. Also during that match, though, we saw Matt Cardona make a special appearance. That was a major hit. I was not expecting that right there. Wow, that was dope, as me and my friends like to say. And those are my hits this week.
As the cool kids say.
That was dope, man. That was hip. I think I might be sounding too old now.
Man, I'm not even sure. I should just rewind what you said and just we'll just let it do that twice because that's the hits I have. Mickie James, fantastic. I love Mickie James. It's almost like you cannot dislike her, that's for sure. Yeah. Skylar I'm going to put her in there. Most improved, man. She was green as grass, still green as grass, but looked so good today. All the sequences of what she did. They worked that match. You said that was they worked that match perfect. A triple threat is all about, it's a triple threat, but they work it so they usually only have two people in the ring at one time. And it was who helped them put that together. A big thumbs up to them too. Big Jack and Big Bruce, man, these two guys look like they just walked out of a motorcycle gang bar, and they push you down, beat you up, and make you like it kind of thing. And I loved them. I love the look, the blue jeans, the shirt. I hate to see Country Rock keep getting beat up, but we do know Country Rock will get their revenge. And that match, the main event, they gave them 20 minutes in the ring. I went ahead and timed it because it was after the introductions and everything. I was happy to see the 20 minutes. And we talked before we started that Gresham is one of those guys that he's different than anyone in the business. And I think people realize that when they start watching him. I've got to go out of my way to watch some of these matches that's been put on YouTube since ROH went out, and probably watch some ROH stuff. Gresham is a true technician, total different style, but him and Aldis had that crowd eating out of their hands, and they didn't do one high spot. Aldis got it to the top rope, was going to do a high spot, and Matt Cordona, I always get his name wrong. Matt Cardona actually appeared.
Cardona. That's what I say sometimes.
Yeah, he appeared on the video, little segment with the NWA title. I really hope we see him come. I love the guy. Zack Ryder, how's that? Zack Ryder appeared on the camera. I love that part of it. I love the finish. Then Jonathan Gresham grabbed the microphone. It was bleeped out, and I love the intensity of that because he was mad that he was glad he won, but mad because of the interference. All right, that was our hits. How about your misses?
Really, my only miss, BT, is the sound. It's just not. It's hard to catch a flow watching the show when the sound's going up and down and in and out, and then during some of the entrances, the announcers are speaking, but you can't hear what the announcers are saying because the music is playing over them. I'm just hoping the sound thing gets worked out.
I'm with you, man. It's we've had weeks where it's good, weeks where it's bad, weeks it goes up. But like you said, it's kind of a distraction more than it is. You know what they're saying, but then you're like, okay, let's get this together. It is the sound is my only miss. The last couple of shows have been just so good, and then all of a sudden you say, what did they say when they had Mickie James out there? I couldn't hardly hear Dustin. I don't know. There's just one of those things where you just have to sit down and say, let's record a bunch of stuff and see how it sounds, and let's put it on YouTube. I mean, without a crowd, put it that way. Just, the technicians go in and do it. And that's the way I do. I do rehearsal with making sure I got everything set up. How does it sound? What is it? I used to do it a lot when we did Skype. But I agree with you. Real quick, this past week we had the Record Store and a Cassette Wrestling News with Dennis Carluzzo from like 1991. It's fun stuff. I got to announce that we have the first episode that's been behind the paywall, as they say. Get the uncut version now on Patreon. You can still do that, but we will have it released on this week sometime on the main feed. So you'll get to hear what we've been talking about. We'll also be interviewing Country Rock sometime, probably by the end of the month. And Dustin and I we got the plans for the second episode. And you'll get the Boogeyman story. Not only that, it's called, Tell Two Cities is what I'm calling it, and you'll understand it more after you listen to it. It will be fun. It really will. All right, what's next? Oh, who is your MVP of the week?
MVP this week, Jonathan Gresham. Just completely, I was blown away in this match. The promo afterwards that you were telling people about as well. from the speech to the wrestling feats. This guy is absolutely amazing. He's my MVP.
Hey, I can't disagree with you. Just I'm in awe every time I see him. But I'm giving my MVP to the new ladies champion, Skylar, most improved. I love the finish of the match. She is the champion. I'll be interested what direction they go to or with now. So Skylar is my MVP. All right, now we're going to set ourselves up. We're going to get ready for question of the week. And this is a fun one. I got to listen to it right before we got on. So here we go.
Hello, everybody. Dustin Starr here to answer the question of the week. And this one comes from StarFan43. And he asked that if I were to get back in the ring for an extended period of time, who would replace me at the desk? Who? And that's actually a pretty good question. I yelled across the living room here to ask my Maria, who would replace me? Who would you want to sit alongside you, Maria, to call the action on Memphis Wrestling every Saturday? She said she would quit. She would only do it with me. Yeah, we've had several people that have joined us at the broadcast position. We've had Dave Brown. We've had Tim Van Horn, who calls the Memphis 901 FC games as well as the Memphis Americans games. Big wrestling fan. He did a great job. We've had the television voice of the NBA's Memphis Grizzlies. Pete Pranica has joined us. I would love for Pete to be full-time at the desk, but with his NBA duties, there's no way he'd be able to do that with Valley Sports and all that kind of stuff. So if I had to name one person that could replace me for an extended period of time at the desk, it would be my absolute favorite voice of all time. One of the voices that you hear for the last 3 to 4 years on Memphis Wrestling with our television program. And that's my boy, Terrence Ward. Terrence Ward is so good, so sharp that his voice, to me, he should be getting paid full-time money somewhere, WWE, AEW, or whatever. I'm such a fan of his voice. So I would have to say it would absolutely be Terrence Ward calling the action side by side with my lovely Maria. So I have to ask you, Maria, would you quit if it was Terrence Ward?
I guess not.
She guesses not. She actually likes Terrence just like I do. So shout out to Terrence Ward. No disrespect to RynoJB. You'd be on the list. BT, you're on the list too, especially for the Arkansas audience. But that was this week's question of the week. If you have a question for me, you can put them in the comments or just send it to my boys RynoJB and Coach BT. Back to you.
All right. Question of the week. Thank you, Dustin. We do. I appreciate it. I know Rhino does too. I'm going to go. I kind of going to piggyback him this week. I would love to hear Terrence doing some play-by-play, and also
Yes.
Tim Van Horn has been a favorite of mine, and I mentioned it on the show a couple of times. But the thing about it is Dustin and Maria, they're married. I know you don't know that, but and they have a chemistry that is hard. I see what she said. Hey, I may not do this if Dustin didn't do it. Because she can say stuff that if I was announcing and she said it while I was announcing, I might say, what the hell did you just say? Where Dustin can play off of it because they have that connection at all times. Even with today, they said, she said tit for tat. And he said, I don't think we could say that on television, but it was really funny. So, all right, who are you picking there, Rhino?
I mean, I'm gonna have to piggyback as well. Terrence Ward is the guy. That's the dude. Even Zicky Dice was looking for a ring announcer, and I listened. I said, man, you're not gonna find anybody better than Terrence Ward, man. He got my first ballot. Doing play-by-play, I think he would be amazing. I think he would be great. I think he's definitely the number one pick that you got to go with if you're talking about replacing Dustin Starr on that table. You got to go with Terrence Ward.
It has a lot to do with he's so familiar. The crowd is familiar with him. That would help out a lot. I think.
Dude, his voice is incredible. Like the way he delivers is just chef's kiss.
We had him on Dynamite doing a little skit for us, and he just it was just awesome. Awesome. All right, y'all. Question of the week. As you can see, I put it on here. If you're watching, it is 501-232-1701 or email us at stspodclub@gmail.com. Also, if you're watching this question of the week right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching it, put in the comments any questions that you have, and we'll throw them up there for Dustin. All right, so we're at the point to where what do we look forward to the most for next week's show? And they didn't talk about it any, I don't think. I may have missed it. What do you look forward to?
They didn't talk about next week too much, I don't believe. But what I'm looking forward to next week, the Posse. They were your MVP last week, and this week they had a bit of a flashback. I want to know what's going on with the tag team championships, what's going on with the Posse, and I hope I find out next week.
Yeah, I was reminded yesterday, I was texting with somebody, and they said, hey, the Posse, can you believe what they're doing? And they've only had one match since December, and I started laughing. I was like, wow, they're getting a lot out of this. But they're champions now, and I love the story. I love the idea that you got two guys that are not really under contract, and then all of a sudden they win the belts. Next week, we have Austin Lane against Brett Michaels in a super bout match, main event. What happens? Are we going to see them getting mad and fighting each other? That's one of the things that because it's been like, chest bump and a couple things like that. So I'm really excited about that. So Austin Lane and Brett Michaels, and real quick, Austin Lane and Brett Michaels both will be in Black Rock, Arkansas tonight. I got a little bit of a list. I know Big Jack Parker's going to be there. Country Rock. Austin Lane against the Russian. Is he still Russian after all this is happening?
I think so. I think you gotta stick with it.
K Toomer against Uncle Mikey could be a really good match. And let me tell you, Rhino, and a lot of people are going to say, what are you saying? What are you saying, BT? The main event, I think, is going to be Brett Michaels. I do know Brad Skimmerhorn is getting a title shot tonight. And that match will be something to watch, guys. Only $10. Join us down there at Black Rock, Arkansas. And I'll be running around with my signature hat and a Rollin Into Mempho shirt. Reach out to me, say hi, say you listen to it, give me a fist bump, and I also will have you some discounts and links and all kinds of fun stuff. All right, what was the must-see on this show?
For me, two things. Jonathan Gresham versus Nick Aldis. Obviously, we've been talking about it all episode. But also, right along with it, Skylar getting that big win and becoming the women's champion, having that title presented to her by Mickie James as she's the Impact Women's Champion. I just thought that was incredible and a great look for Memphis Wrestling. Again, chef's kiss.
My must-see for the week has got to be, I guess, the finish of the main event. The main event's really good, guys. I'll just roll it all up, okay? So the match, the finish, and the interview. That's all my must-see for this week. All fun stuff. Just really old school. You bring two guys that's not regularly Memphis wrestlers, and they just show out, and the crowd just ate it up. I just love it. I love it. All right, guys. Remember, same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there tonight, Black Rock, Arkansas. And as everyone knows, I love my mama.
Me too.
All right, Patreon. If you are a Patreon member,